Good afternoon, everybody out there in Viewerland, and welcome to the Thirsty Thursday edition of the Rundown. I will be your host for today's program. My name is Mike Jaworski, and I'm coming to you from the East Coast, where I only do about half the hosting on the program.
And that is right. My name is Craig DeLuz. I'm coming at you from the left coast and very much excited to be your co host for today's Thirsty Thursday edition of The Rundown.
How was your day going, Craig? How was your evening yesterday, and how's your day been going so far today?
Phenomenal. Mowing the lawn, barbecuing some steaks, having a good time.
That's man, you're like midday steak barbecue, and that's or midweek steak barbecue, and that's pretty high core right there, pretty hard
Hey,
stuff.
well, you know what? You got to do it while the weather's still good out here because you're starting to get kind of that, it's in the 70s. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit. It's like if you're going to enjoy the outdoors, you got to do it now because as soon as October comes, man, it starts to head south.
Well, like how cold does it get there?
Oh, well, okay, 40s, 50s at the coldest. Sometimes down into the 30s. Well, at night 30s. Yeah, at night sometimes down to the 30s.
Okay, because this is the time of year for us where we're just starting to venture outdoors.
Oh wow.
Uh, because the heat becomes. You listen. You just really don't grill during the summer because you don't want to be outside when it's 98 degrees with plus the humidity while you're out there over that hot grill. Now is about the time of year where grilling starts here.
Ah, okay. So what we need to do is plan on where we're going to hang out based on grilling season.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So now you know, right? Right? And like they say, no one's half the battle. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Uh, well, that's good. Good to hear things are going all right there. Where, like I said, things here on this side of the coast, on this side of the country, are going well. Temperature getting better. Actually, went flying a couple times this past week, so a couple different aircraft as well. So having a good time. Having a good time. Uh,
Excellent. Excellent. That is always fun to hear.
let's jump though back to your side of the country. Craig, there's a it seems as though there's a very large push again for ghost guns, to get rid of ghost guns in California. Now, the thing that I saw, and I love the way the media portrays these things, Craig. On the front page of this article is a bunch of AR pistols in their natural state. By natural state, I mean they don't have any of your California modifications on them. I'm not even sure. Are California, excuse me, are AR pistols even legal in California anymore, or are they gone?
No, AR pistols are not legal in the state of California.
Okay, so the way that this article starts off with is the picture of AR rifles and AR pistols laying there at a gun show, and they say, well, we need to get rid of ghost guns. Well, I guess they're trying to clearly imply that you could go buy a ghost gun pistol AR at a California gun show, and that's how dangerous it is. So we need to get rid of it. So immediately this article is starting off with, putting a false narrative in your head, giving you imagery that is not true to try and get you to panic and agree with the state of California that these ghost guns are dangerous and you have to get rid of them. Craig, first I'm not
Well,
even sure what their angle is, how they're going to get rid of them this time, but I mean, it gets me incensed that the media would use that imagery and to lie to the reader.
right. Well, see, here's the thing. So if you already had one, you can possess one.
Right.
But I think actually I think there are a legal way. There is a legal way to actually get one. It says I'm just looking here. It says only legal ways to acquire an AR pistol in California. So evidently you can possess one, but
Right.
it's almost impossible. You're not supposed to be able to buy one or purchase one. The other thing is that even if it were a quote unquote ghost gun, you would have to actually then, before you could even put it together, you would have to petition the state. You have to apply,
Right.
do a background check and all that in order to be able to, before you could even turn it into a gun.
Which would still be a lie from the pictures that are being shown because they show them clearly being sold at a gun show and a ghost gun. First off, folks, what's a ghost gun? A gun without a serial number that you're allowed to manufacture for yourself and for your personal use anywhere else in the country. But evidently in California and states like New York and New Jersey, if it doesn't have a serial number on there, it's going to go out and run around and kill people indiscriminately. But they're trying to imply that you can buy a firearm without a serial number at a gun show, and that's not true. It has not been true since 1968 that you could purchase a firearm without a serial number, a newly manufactured firearm without a serial number on it. That's
Yes.
just not so.
So I just matter of fact, I just looked up and now I recall why you cannot, because we have our not unsafe handgun roster, and
Uh,
an AR pistol would not qualify under the not unsafe handgun roster. That's why.
Folks, did you hear what he said? For those not in California, the
Yes,
not
it's called the
un
not unsafe handgun roster because God forbid they should ever call a handgun safe.
yes, yes, the not unsafe handgun roster, because you can't say the safe handgun roster. It's the not unsafe handgun roster. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's what's going on in California there. Craig, they're just going to roll back, or should we just going to try and roll through more legislation on ghost guns? Is this going to be a top down kind of attack from the state, or are we going to continue to watch preemption be beat away down there, and they're going to come from the bottom up at you?
Well, in essence, what they're going to start to do, the only thing that they really can do is to start to make 80% lowers illegal to possess.
Right,
There's nothing really, because it's not a firearm.
right,
And what's funny is that they want to call it a firearm, but it's not a firearm. And
right.
even then, they have to be very, very technical as to exactly what is an 80% lower. And this is the reason why kind of the feds have settled at this particular point, because there's certain things. So what will happen is this, is that they will go and they will ban what's called 80% lowers. And then you'll have people who will create 79.9% lowers.
Right, right.
I
Yeah,
mean, the problem is that these morons they fail to understand that they don't understand the technology well enough to know that, yeah, you tell us what the specifications are, we'll make sure that we don't meet those specifications, and those things will still be made available for sale. Now, the other problem you're going to start to run into is they're going to start to say, well, if you have this and you have this and you have this and you have this, if you have parts
right.
necessary to make a firearm, then they're going to go after you for constructive possession. Well, okay, so if you've worked on firearms before, I mean, how many of you in your workbench have a number of different gun parts? I mean, Mike, you probably drive around with enough gun parts to make you guilty of constructive possession if you were driving in the state of California.
Yeah, listen, I would be sentenced to thousands and thousands of years just on what's unrolling around under my seats, in the state of California. This is you're exactly right, Craig. We continue to say this. Well, if they outlaw 80%, then it'll take the industry about a week to make a 79%. It's just
Right.
and we'll keep going back and forth with the feds, and they'll say, well, that's 75%. Okay, good. Well, here you go. That's our new product we're selling. Well, we don't like them. Well, get back with us in 2 years when you can pass a new law. Otherwise, we're going forth with 75%. It's just yeah, it's you're trying to take something away, trying to create something out of nothing, right? They're trying to
Right.
say that you can't have 80% guns. I don't have an 80% gun. I have a piece of aluminum that in one day I could perhaps remold and put into it. But this whole, even the constructive possession, Craig, when you have an AR and you have parts, unless you have a complete upper and a complete lower, I don't see how you can ever charge anybody with constructive possession, because they take tools to put together. It's kind of like if I've got, a plank of plywood here, and they charge me with constructive possession of a birdhouse. Okay, well, I still have to
Well,
cut the
but
wood, and I
but
still have to have the tools
Mike,
to put it
it would be
together.
real. It would be real easy for them to confuse you over crime because because you are white, you are racist. So
Yes,
therefore, anything you do is a crime.
yes, yes. In California, yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. Many states now. Yeah, it's a crime to be
For
white.
those of you who do not know, it is a joke. I am being facetious. So some of you look. I don't know. And sometimes in the gun community, we can have a few folks who are a little too woke.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all right. We take care of them, though. We take care of them. You carry the heavy boxes, sir. You carry the heavy boxes. Make you carry the ammo out at the range. Let's see. Let's see. All right, let's move along here. Let's move along. I gotta get away from some California craziness. And Craig, I saw this. We've got the everybody knows about the, what is it, the first Monday in October, right? Is when the Supreme Court takes the news up their new session. So we've got that rapidly approaching, right? Well, Justice Sotomayor, she has let her feelings be known. She has decided to come out a little bit more than justices normally do, and it's because she does not see good things on the horizon. She sees cases that she's going to have to dissent on. By the way, folks, that's a good thing. If she's the dissent, it means that the liberal left of the court has lost. So she sees case after case that are going to be rolling through that she's going to have to be dissenting on because, again, she is the liberal side of the court. And she goes on to make things that say like you say things like you have to go back to your states and you have to change your laws. You have to get your laws changed. Well, you know what? That's actually kind of encouraging, Craig, to me, because that sounds like she understands what her role is on the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Okay. Yes and no. From that perspective, yes, it is encouraging. But here's the thing that gets me, and the thing that concerns me is, first of all, one of the things that they say that you do when you go through the whole vetting process, you're not supposed to have opinions on cases before they come to you,
Right.
right? And what
Right.
she is clearly referencing is the fact that she's already knows exactly what she believes on a number of these cases. And so the facts of the case really don't matter. The very fact that she's like, we're going to be disappointed means she already knows she's going to be dissenting, even though she hasn't even really heard arguments on the case yet or seen any of the stuff that comes before. She's already made up her mind. She also recognizes that she is in the minority. And she recognizes, by the way, that the laws need to be changed. Now, I think that if she is dissenting, then it's not because her dissent is not going to be because, well, she believes that these laws actually violate doesn't believe that these laws violate let me clarify. She's going to be dissenting because she believes that the majority is constitutionally wrong. She's going to be dissenting because she believes their role should be, to write laws and change laws. And what's happening is she's recognizing that the majority on the court is going to make the legislative branch do their jobs if they want something to be different. I think she wants to be an activist, and she would be an activist if she had the ability to be an activist justice.
Yes, agreed. And like I said, I think it's the it's I see your point. Yeah, that where perhaps she's got a preformed opinion in going in ahead of time concerning what she's going to be doing on those cases. I think I see that, and I also see the other side of it. Like I said, where
Mm-hmm.
this is showing that she understands. She does want to be an activist,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe it's a preemption to activism. She's trying
She
to
understands
tell
what
you.
has to be
Yeah,
done. But
yeah,
I will tell you this sort of a statement before the beginning of a session, I don't know, and I can be sometimes a little bit of a Supreme Court nerd. I've never seen a justice do this going into a session ever that I
no.
can recall. If I'm wrong, guys, tell me where you can recognize where someone has done this in the past.
Yeah, listen, unless it was where you knew the justice was getting a little loopy, like towards the end uh with with Justice Ruth Bader, Darth Bader
Mm-hmm.
Ginsburg there, and she
Mm-hmm.
was, she was
Weekend
coming up
at
all,
Ruth Bader's.
yeah, she was coming up all anti-Trump. Remember, she was spouting
Yes.
off, but it was like, ew, okay, somebody, maybe we should have a cognitive reasoning test for justices. Um,
Yeah.
uh, so I do, and I don't want to anybody to misconstrue that I am in favor of lifetime appointments for the Supreme Court. But at some point, the other justices need to say she ain't right.
She right.
Yeah, she came in here and was squashing spiders that weren't here. Kind of stuff. So, um, but yeah, I can't think of anybody else beyond that. And they both seem to be woke, kind of political related comments that they were making.
No, no, you get no disagreement here, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sounds about right. All right, let's move on. Let's get into some COVID and the military, and this is probably the COVID portion of the program
Oh,
anyway.
wait, wait, wait,
By
wait,
the
wait,
way,
wait, 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 wait. We have to have our COVID announcement.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, you may proceed.
there you go. Yeah, in addition to Cardi, there the COVID portion of the program is brought to you, as the rest of the program is brought to you by our good friends at Grid Defense and Gorilla Machining. Grid Defense, Gorilla Machining. Make sure you check them out for all your finest AR parts, including 80% and anything else that you might be able to need to construct yourself the finest American firearm that ever existed. So let's move on from there. Coast Guard. Now, Craig, the Coast Guard is it's kind of, it sits in a special place. The Coast Guard is a branch of the military service. However, it does not report to the Department of Defense. It reports to the Department of Homeland Security. So when you heard things like as of September 15th, the military must have everybody 100% vaccinated, or the individual members of those service branches would face punishment or dismissal. Well, the Coast Guard kind of comes under that and kind of doesn't come under that, but it's a good guideline to watch what's going on in the military, because they are generally accepted as the one of the six branches of the military. So and they have been for quite some time. What's going on, Craig, is they've taken the COVID exemptions, the vaccine exemptions, and placed it in the hands of the chaplaincy over at the Coast Guard when it comes to religious exemptions. Rather than, again, Craig, rather than put this in charge with the command staff or the medical staff. Now they understand there are people that have religious exemptions, but what the guidelines are that they've given the chaplains to say whether or not it's a true religious exemption or not just completely steps over the bounds. Now, Craig, if somebody were come to, if you were a minister, if you were a chaplain, if somebody were to come to you and say, I have this issue, you as a qualified minister or chaplain should have that knowledge to deal with that issue. However, the Coast Guard has since sent down things that say like, well, if they say they don't want to take the vaccine, find out if they've ever taken Tylenol or Pepto-Bismol, because fetal, DNA was used in those. So if they object to this because of fetal, they can't really be a true religious, objection, because they took other medicine that was made the same way. There's a couple different things that they've got them in here. Craig, they say also, if they come in and say, I have a religious objection, they want the chaplain to certify the last time and how frequently they go to church as well.
Right. This is by all definitions a religious inquisition.
Yes.
First of all, there's supposed to be some sort of sanctity between a chaplain or a religious advisor and the individual. The fact is they completely run roughshod over that. They want the chaplains to implement a religious test and tell you, yeah, he's religious, but he's not really religious. Or
Right, yeah.
my religion, yes, our religion under this, that, or the other says, yeah, no, you can get the vaccine under this religion, but not necessarily under this religion. And by the way, keep in mind that that chaplains are not necessarily experts on every religion. So you don't know, oftentimes, or they won't know for sure whether or not there is a valid reason or an argument under someone's faith to be opposed to the vaccine ban. The fact is that involving the chaplaincy in this, I think really it has the chaplaincy outside of what their scope should be, number one. But number two, it is going to create a wedge or put a wedge between individuals and their chaplains. And I think trying to create that separation of people from those who they're supposed to go to for spiritual guidance is only going to do harm to the military. It's not going to help.
Unlike in the civilian world, in the military, the presence of the chaplain and the presence of the church is quite available. Whereas the last two generations here in this country, it's gone away. It's gone away from Craig, and I'm positive you were one as well. You're a go to church kind of guy every day. You did not every Sunday. You did Bible schools growing up. And probably handed it off to your kids, but in some way, some fashion, this country's gotten away from that. It was the Clintons, by the way. Where religion was pushed to the side. Well, the military's not done that. It's there. It's every day. And like you said, to take away that tightness, that trust between the chaplaincy and the individual in the service is going to drive a moral wedge, an
Right.
ethical wedge, between them and the flock that they serve.
Yeah. No, no, it most definitely is, and especially those who are in areas where they're in combat. I mean, those are folks who need it probably the most. They
Right.
need to be able to have that sort of spiritual guidance relationship. And once again, there's no guarantee you're going to have a chaplain that's the same religion as you, but at least someone who can help you walk in whatever your faith is,
Right.
and just help you deal with some of the challenges that you're going to be facing. And I mean, if you're in the middle of war, let me tell you something: you're facing challenges. I've never been there. I've never been in combat, but I'm just going to guess based on those who I've talked to who have been.
There's an old saying that says there's no atheists in a foxhole. So
There you go. Yes, that is a very old saying.
so let's move on from the Coast Guard and the DHS and military's uh, 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 prosecution of those that have not had vaccinations. So excuse me, persecution of those that have not had vaccinations to the New York City mayor, De Blasio, Wilhelm here, who's evidently decided to Craig. And I don't know basketball. I don't know if you follow basketball at all, but has decided to go after one of the Brooklyn Nets. Mr. Kyrie Irving. He has told him that, hey, it's time for you to get the shot, and if you don't, we got consequences for you. So now you've got the mayor threatening one of the individuals that is responsible for having brought the city out of the COVID shutdown, somebody who has brought entertainment to the city, somebody who has brought their athletic prowess there, and now the mayor is making threats against him. This is almost as if, like threatening your own medical staff that saved how many people for how many months during this nonsense, and then you're going to fire them because they didn't do exactly what you told them to do about getting this experimental vaccine.
Well, exactly, and I am in full support. You know me. I got the vaccine. My family got the vaccine. But this idea of ordering people to get a vaccine that they do to put. I mean, let's be clear. To put drugs in their bodies, right? To mandate that people force drugs into their bodies when we already know that there is evidence that just because you get the shot doesn't mean you don't get COVID. Right? This is fact. I mean, yes, okay, yeah, we've been suspended on YouTube for stating this very thing.
Yep.
But we all know that just because you got the shot doesn't mean you can't get COVID. And oh, by the way, we also know that just because you got the shot doesn't mean you can't spread COVID.
Yep.
We know this. This is fact. This is not nothing that has been unreported. And yet and still, you have the political elite demanding of the rank and file, the average person, demanding of those in the medical community who are heroes, who stood on the front lines and fought COVID face to face in the worst place at the worst time, right there in New York City. They're being let go and fired if they don't get the shot. Now I'm thinking, let's see, you are a failed mayor. And they are the medical professionals who've been on the front line fighting COVID. I'm going to guess that they know more about this than you do, Mr. Mayor. And by the way, as much as I hate, these celebrity athletes who think they know it all, I'm going to guess that Mr. Kyrie Irving knows probably as much as you know, Mr. Mayor, about COVID-19 and about the vaccines. Because he knows and recognizes that, guess what? He is a young male with no pre-existing conditions. The likelihood of him getting deathly ill from COVID is very, very low. Let me ask you this, Mr. Mayor. How many NBA players, right, have died from COVID? Matter of fact, how many have been hospitalized? How many NFL players, right? How many? Come on, Mr. Mayor, please tell me. And I will tell you, none. Worst case scenario, they couldn't play for a weekend. Because guess what? They're young, they're healthy, they have healthy immune systems, and by the science, they are a lot less likely. It's almost impossible. I won't say almost impossible, but close to impossible that they are going to get sick and die from COVID.
Yeah, we just got done looking at the study, Craig. You and I were looking under reference, the one that was out of Massachusetts. Now, this study's already month and a half, 2 months old. It was 74% of the people up there that had gotten the COVID were vaccinated. They were
Right.
vaccinated, right?
Right.
Um,
And we know if you have it, you can spread it. Now,
that's right.
they
It's
did note
infectious.
that a significantly fewer number of them were in the hospital, but we already know this, right? We already know that if you've been vaccinated, chances of hospitalization are not zero, but at least they go down significantly. And that's kind of the point.
Here's just some of the wording in here, folks. I want you to understand how rapidly this science is changing
Oh,
as
yeah.
it comes to this. It says some vaccinated people could not are not shall could. So again, this is the CDC's report. Some vaccinated people could be carrying higher levels of the virus than previously understood and are potentially transmitting it to others. Okay, that sentence right there has got three unknowns in it. Okay, so
Well, but that was 3 months ago. We now know that they're carrying it. We
yeah,
now know that you can get it. We know that you can carry it and
yes,
transmit it
yeah.
if you got the vaccine. We know this.
That's how fast this goes. And folks, by the way, if you thought this was a vaccine like the polio, the measles, the mumps, rubella, you are wrong. Those are diseases that have no cure. That's why the vaccine exists. There is treatment for this. On the flip side, you go out and you get yourself your Invectin, you get yourself your monoclonal. There are treatments for this available as we speak.
Right.
So this is
that they won't
by the
certify.
way, Greg, have you had your measles, mumps, rubella, or
Yeah.
polio
Yeah.
update boosters?
Yeah.
Have you had your boosters?
No.
No. Oh, you know why? Because they don't exist.
Right.
Because it's basically a one and done. There is a booster as a young child, so you'll get an initial, you'll get the second shot, and that's it. But this is designed. Let's get it, folks. This is a flu shot. When they tell you this is a booster, it's not a booster. This is the second shot. And
Right.
next
But-
year, when a new variant comes out, there'll be a third shot.
That is 100% true. But I had talked with a couple of different medical professionals, and what they've said is, this ID. The problem is that our definition of vaccines in the general public is you get this vaccine, you're never going to have to worry about getting whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that under their definition of vaccines are everything from like the booster that you get for the flu every year, like the flu, they consider that to be the flu vaccine or your flu shot, all the way through to you get this one shot and you never have to worry about it again. All of that they consider to be vaccines. And the problem is they're not doing a very good job of clarifying, of providing that level of information. And they're making it sound like at least they made it sound like in the beginning, if you got the shot, you're all good. You got nothing to worry about.
They're doing, Craig, the same way that the left does with the gun terminology. They're trying to change the words, okay? The vaccine is, you get the vaccine, you're done. We've all know that. We've all had those vaccines. And you said it. You stumbled on it, but you said it. Every year you could get the flu shot. It's the flu shot.
No, I didn't
called
stumble on it.
vaccine.
I'm telling you, in their guys, they consider that to be a quote unquote vaccine. And my problem is they're not. They need to come up with a better terminology. The problem is their terminology.
To change the terminology because they want you to think that it's just a standard vaccine. It's no harm to it. The flu shot has always been the flu shot. It was never meant to be a vaccine that cured you forever. It relieved and alleviated a little bit of the symptoms and a little bit of your risk. The same thing that this shot is doing for COVID.
I'm only telling you. I'm only sharing with you information I got from medical professionals that I trust, who, by the way, don't support vaccine mandates.
And I'm saying they're and I agree with you there, but the medical industry is attempting to change the terminology on us the same way the firearms industry did. The anti-firearms
there you go. The anti-firearms industry.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, let's take a look at our parting shot for the day. If you're like Craig and I, you get to do a lot of travel and you get to see things all around the country. And I know that the gas prices here in Florida, the inflation that's in Florida. By the way, there's no inflation if you ask the White House. There is nothing like that going on. But
no,
I can tell you right now that gas prices here were $1.79 a gallon prior to the election, and at this point in Florida they hover about 3.09. So that's a pretty significant increase. That's a 40% increase in our gas prices here. So I'm sorry, that's an 80% increase in our gas prices here. So it's not we're almost double.
Right.
It's not nice. It's not nice. And I know the same's going out there with you, Craig. Now it seems as though in California, because of Newsom's reaffirmation, because of Trump's loss there, that it seems to be game on to take more money out of your pockets.
Oh, dude, it is crazy. Inflation is crazy out here. We're over $4 a gallon, and we've been over $4 a gallon for gas. Well, let me clarify. It depends on where you go. So we're over $4. Some places it's up to 4.50, 4.60 a gallon,
Right.
4.70 in some places. In some places it's as low as, I think the lowest I've seen lately is 4.07, 4.09.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, last year this time we were paying somewhere around under $3 a gallon.
Yeah.
Just so y'all can put a
Yeah.
reference on, we were paying under $3 a gallon for gas, somewhere around 2.70. So yeah, prices for everything just about has gone up, and it's gone up in a crazy fashion. But that's the reason why. That's the reason for our parting shot today, because you know what?
There is one sure way. Yeah.
We could save 20 to 40% or more on everything by switching back to Trump. What people don't understand is that they first of all understand that, number one, we had energy independence. We were producing our own oil. We were bringing our own oil out of the ground. We were producing our own oil, which meant that we didn't have to go and beg OPEC to pump more fuel, to produce more oil, so that we could keep things going. Because OPEC is basically they're intentionally reducing the amount of oil so that they can drive up the prices. Because folks, let's be real. Gas prices drive the price of just about everything, right? I mean, because what is not transported in this country by vehicle? And once again, it's not just gas prices, but Mike, the price of everything has just gone crazy and gone through the roof.
Yeah, but Craig, we have no inflation, right? We have the artificial control over the stock market going on right now, trying to keep everything where it is. It's artificially being maintained in that position, but we have no inflation. Craig, what gets me in when we talk about gas prices, and you'll talk about somebody about exactly what we're talking about, how gas prices have risen since the election, and you look at them and they say, well, the president has nothing to do with the price of gas. And I just stare at them blankly for a moment and turn and walk away, because I don't have time to educate them all the way from the kindergarten level to today.
Well, no, you hit the nail on the head, and that all the president can do when it comes to this stuff, and I agree with him, is that if you cut off, all you can do is negatively affect it, right? If you get out of the way and you let the market do its thing, that's one thing. And that's, by the way, what Trump did. He let the market do its thing.
But
when you inhibit the market, which is what he's doing, that's exactly what he's doing. He's inhibiting the market and therefore causing prices to go up. Thank you, Joe Biden, for being, and as his administration has been accused of being, economically ignorant.
Yep. It was a combination of confidence in the market. That's what the president can do to establish or get rid of inflation or control the gas prices. And like you said earlier, this president is lost, but President Trump had given us, fuel independence from the world. So.
Oh, and I almost forgot about this. Then there's just the flat out printing of money that's driving inflation. I mean, folks, let's just be real. And now, okay, this is basic economics. All right. If there's only one of something, it's rare, and it generally means the value. And people, by the way, one of something that people want, right? If there's only one of them, the value or the cost of it's going to go up because it's rare. The more of those things that there are, the lower the individual value of each one of them is going to be, because there's more available, more people can get it. Well, if we are simply pumping dollars, by the way, into the economy, that money is being printed from nowhere. It has no real foundation. Because there's more dollars, because there's more of them out there, guess what? Each one has less value. So those of you pushing for the $15 an hour minimum wage, Yeah, by the time Biden is done, it's going to be like you're earning $2 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I forget what story it was we were talking about earlier in the week, but it was remember there was a new special $2 billion program that they wanted to do, but it was going to be a net zero cost because they were just going to raise the taxes, and therefore it would cost nothing. No, again, not how it works. Absolutely not how it works. You can't have a $2 billion project raise taxes $2 billion and call it zero. That cost is $4 billion at that point.
Well, exactly. There's the old saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. It may be free to you, but someone is paying that bill. Someone is paying for that lunch. And the worst thing about it is that you may be paying for the lunch and you don't even know it.
Oh, you listen. Your insurance rates will go up on every kind of insurance you have. Your interest rates will go up on everything that you own, including credit cards in your home, your car, your gas insurance. The taxes are going to go up everywhere you go. Your income taxes, your state taxes, your sales taxes, all going to go up. Craig, but like you say, most people just say, "Oh, well, they'll just write it off. They'll just write it off."
Right.
I have no idea what that means. They're just going to write it off.
No idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, hey, that's going to be it for this edition of The Rundown. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you liking and sharing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at therundown.us, and eventually we'll be back up on YouTube. Like I said, I think they said we're down for 2 weeks. But in the meantime, you can also follow us on Facebook. If you want to watch us on YouTube, I know that we're on 2A News. You can find us there. You can also find us at the Run. I mean, there's tons of places you can watch us, but make sure you subscribe to us both on Facebook and on YouTube.
Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on Freedback Friday.
Freedback Friday. Holla at you later.
Woo woo.